Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Here the Upanishad is not to give us some theory, philosophy, some dream or some concept. It is to shatter every concept of our intellect, even of infinitude and finitude. And when every concept of our intellect is shattered and the intellect cannot conceptualize, that intellect is hushed. And one who knows the concept and the shattering of the concept, that consciousness is ever present. Ekam, one. Infinite can only be one. This is simple understanding. There can't be two infinites. And therefore, Ekam. But ours is not just to sit and understand that Ekam means that which is infinite. There cannot be two infinites. This is quite mathematical. You could get a Nobel Prize for it. No. But search what is one. Shankaracharya has given a beautiful text called as Drik Drishya Vivek. The seen are many, the seer is always one. Objects you see are many, but the sight is one. But your sight goes through, even age, different tones of your sight. But the mind that knows the conditions of your eyes is one. But your mind also goes through so many moods and changes. The intellect who knows it is only one. But the intellect who knows and does not know, who is the knower of that? That witnessing consciousness is one. So, Ekam. And therefore, wherever the mind goes, if the mind goes to the most distant star, that consciousness is already there. Because if consciousness was not there, then how would you know it? Therefore, what is all-pervading? It is this consciousness that is all-pervading. And why anything, even the senses, mind, etc., wherever they go, they can know, recognize, and we can see any object only when we are conscious of it, is it not? We understand ourselves to be a conscious being in this body. We think, etc., in this body. But our mind goes everywhere. But wherever our mind goes, consciousness is present. Now don't take consciousness as some other object. In short, what is trying to say here, that the mind, intellect functions in consciousness. And whatever we experience as any object, whatever we experience is in consciousness. It is not consciousness is traveling everywhere. Everything is traveling in consciousness. Everything that is being superimposed is changing in consciousness. But consciousness remains as that one Sakshi, one observer of all the change. Yeah? Therefore, don't say, Swamiji, my mind is so wild, it goes everywhere. That's why, how can I know the truth? Acha, where did it go? To the shopping mall. Where did it go? To the hairdressers. Yeah? Where did it go? Chaiwala. Wherever you went, you were conscious of it, no? Or like when in class you go to sleep and then you are unconscious, no? Only when you are conscious that can you go to a chaiwala and you can drink chai, enjoy chai, only when you are conscious, is it not? So does not your consciousness go everywhere with the mind? But really speaking, consciousness doesn't go everywhere with the mind. Yeah. That consciousness is all-pervading, and in that all-pervading mind, this consciousness, all-pervading consciousness, this body, mind and intellect are little specks that are floating, and wherever they go, yeah, consciousness is already there. Now, okay, space example is easy to understand. You have this glass space, isn't it? In that there is water. Yeah, it's water, huh? Don't think there's anything else. Yeah. There is water. No? Now, when I move this glass from here to here, you can see the glass which is not there, or which is there and not here, has moved here. You can see the movement. Yeah? But it looks like the space in the glass has also moved. Isn't it? The space in the glass has also moved. But if I remove the glass, has space moved anywhere? No. So now understand that this Atma, this consciousness, which is unmoving, which means unchanging, which is one knower of all the change, in which the mind, intellect functions, or by which it functions, in which it functions. And wherever our mind can reach, our senses can go, it seems to have gone faster than that, which means it is all pervading. And by saying ekam, what do we understand of the word one? We understand one as one of the numbers. Yeah? And even our understanding that God is one, Seer is one, is actually very limited. Yeah? We think one is one of the numbers, and therefore we think that God also is one of his kind. There's no other like God. And that is what we understand as one. So he is one of a kind, but there are others also who are not like God. Yeah? So one implies that is one out of the many. This is our understanding of one. Therefore, the rishis had to say, Ekam eva advitiya. Yeah? That is one only without a second. Brahma, the infinite, is one without a second. So there's not that this infinite reality and then there is this world. There is nothing other than the infinite reality. That's the meaning of the word ekam. But our understanding of ekam is very limited. Now, really speaking, even mathematically, so let's get into little mathematics. Exercise your intellect, because too much beyond the intellect. Let's exercise your intellect a little bit. Is one of the numbers, or one is that number that is present in all numbers? So isn't one all-pervading? Otherwise, one for you is the smallest number. But one is that number that pervades all numbers. Yeah? And ekam in Sanskrit comes from the word eti, and eti means that which is all-pervading. Yeah? And this one seer, being ekam, unmoving, beyond change, and all-pervading, which means beyond space and beyond any object, because all objects exist in it only, and even our body, mind, senses, and everybody's body, mind, and senses exist in that only and can function in that only, and therefore is infinite. And what is infinite? Is the one seer, the consciousness, the Atma. And to point out that this Atma only is Ishvara, the totality, it is said, Tasmin apaha matarishva dadati. Again, a very technical language, but so significant that it is in this consciousness only. Matarishva, we have said, air. Yeah? Dadati gives, creates, supports water. Now, what do you understand of that? Or you have to go into cosmology to understand it. Yeah? Upanishad class is not for, KG students. It is for PhD and beyond. PhD people can't understand it anyway, so it's okay. Anyway, any doctorate here, please. Because you are the one who's going to first. I don't understand this, okay. This is not something about doctorate. See how beautiful the language is, that you can see the multiple. One meaning simple is to show the identity between Jiva and Ishvara. That Matarishva, Prana, and Prana means Hiranyagarbha, means creator. Technically in Vedanta, you will study that. I'm putting it in a simple language, right? That it is in this consciousness only the creator supports all the creation or gives, forms, life, and according to people's karma, actions, vasanas, gives the various different forms. Now tell me, simple thing is, Jiva is limited, Lord of creation is great, but both are conscious or not? That consciousness is the identity. Yeah? So therefore, Tasmin In that, Matarishva apaha dadati. Now this verse also, this line, so much significance is there that in space is air, and in Taittiriya Upanishad it is pointed out that from space came air, from air came water. So the cause effect, creator creation is all possible as superimposition on the one unchanging consciousness reality. If you read Gurudev's commentary, how he takes science into it, First is cause and effect. From space comes air, air comes water, and from water comes all this creation. Now, even those who have studied a little bit of 8th standard science and must have gone to the laboratory for the first time, and the first experiment you are given is of copper sulfate. And you are told to put it on a Bunsen fire. And that beautiful blue crystal like a sapphire, like a sapphire becomes just powder. Why? Because the water from it is dried. So what gives you form is water. And we all get our forms according to our karma, actions that we have done before. And from that actions, our various vasanas, and with that vasanas, various action. And it is in that the whole creation, Matarishva also means in whom, or Sutra Atma means in whom, Hiranyagarbha, in whom the whole universe resides, and all the seed of our karmas for which we get different forms, and therefore apa dadati gives us form, gives us water. And the significance is galore from Veda's standpoint, from scientific standpoint, but for us simple thing is, it is in that consciousness only the creator creates all the creatures according to their karmas. And thus, it is in that your mind and intellect functions, it is that only the creator creates. Then only its oneness is established. And the next verse, if we understood even subjectively that it is air, prana's breath, that supports your activities and your life in this body or this form, because if breath goes away, this body crumbles down to become dust. So air supports life in this body. But don't understand air to be the ultimate source of life, because air moves. So significance of this one verse is tremendous, subjectively, objectively. But the purpose of the Upanishad is to point out that this consciousness which is aware of your body, mind and intellect, this consciousness because of which there is life and activity in this body, this consciousness because of which you can think and you can see, experience the world of plurality, and therefore this whole world of plurality exists in consciousness. Lest we think that this consciousness is limited to me, the next verse points out that this consciousness is inside and outside. It is infinite.
Tadijati tannejati
Tad ejati tannaijati.
Taddure tadvantike.
Taddure tadvantike.
Tadantarasya sarvasya.
Tadantarasya sarvasya.
Tadu sarvasyasya bahyataha.
Tadu sarvasyasya bhayataha. Tad ejati, it moves. And then it said tat na ejati, it does not move. Just like you sitting in the flight from Australia or from America, you sit in the flight, you are unmoving, and yet you move. Therefore, this all-pervading infinite consciousness, unchanging, unmoving, but in these equipments, just like this glass space seems to move, but the glass is moving in space. The glass space does not actually move, but because of the upadhis, because of the equipments, seems to be moving. Tat dure, tat u antike. It is far also and it is near also. Again, simple understanding is all pervading. It is far and near. But another beautiful example Gurudev had given. If you are standing at the circumference of the circle, and looking outward as far as your mind can go, you will not see the core, the essence, the center, the truth. But for those who are looking inward, the circumference of the circle, wherever you move, you see the center. So for those who are looking outward, they don't see. It's farther than the farthest. Means you can go to the limits of it and you can't find the end of it. And those who look towards the center see it everywhere. These are all meditations. Geometry is also a meditation. It is everywhere. And now you understand that beautiful Ras Leela, where Krishna only stands at the center. And the gopis dance around Krishna. But their attention is only Krishna, 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 Krishna. So while they are dancing, every gopi sees that between the gopis there is Krishna only. Thus, for those whose mind is on the truth, then how far you go, there also you find the truth. And how inward you go, you also find the truth. But if you think that this reality is only inside you, he says it is inside as well as outside. Tad antara sarvasya, of everything and everybody. And tatu sarvasya asya bhayataha. Space is inside this cup, space is in this room, space is also outside. To point out that this Atma is infinite, inside as well as outside. And this inside and outside, Adha and Idam, that and this, God and creature, all these are superimposed and they are not the truth. And when our attention is on that one consciousness that is infinite, there is no distinctions, no difference, and then only Atma can be Brahma, that Atma can be infinite. Otherwise, even if there is distinction of Ishvara and Jiva, God and creature and creation, neither three of them can be infinite. Because all limit each other, even God cannot be infinite. So, having explained this, through these two verses, the infinite nature of the Atma. Now imagine, you are that. And if you consider yourself to be this, are you not self-murderers? You are infinite and you consider yourself to be finite. You are Purna, of the nature of bliss, and you are begging for love and happiness from people who equally think like you. Yeah, it's like a king who's made a beggar. He's worse than death. But there's another significance to this verse. Should I tell you? As I told you, the Gurudev's commentary and how he links everything. And I will only read out his commentary in this verse. It's the last two paragraphs. In fact, the whole Ishavasya Upanishad, it will be revealed, is a cry to the true Hindu to desist from becoming merely self-centered, to the utter neglect of his life in the outer world and in his relationships with the comity of nations and happenings around him. If this were not the kernel of the Vedanta, Vyasa would be a criminal saboteur of Hindu culture when he gave such a noble personality as Sri Parthasarthi, the charioteer of Arjuna, as the ideal personality in a true Hindu nation. He acted vigorously in a field of activity, facing his own individual, domestic, communal, national, and international situations. He never ran away from life, nor did he court life. But when life approached him, he never shirked his responsibilities, but acted truly diligently and fully out of those situations of disturbance, chaos, and confusion. He fashioned out a harmonious melody of enduring success. You will find in Upanishad a call to the individual to act in the field of plurality, avidya, as a means to the greater fulfillment, vidya, and after having gained the self, vidya, to fulfill himself and his life in the world of service and activity, avidya. He will come to it again. We will come to it again as we proceed on to those mantras. And I said those mantras, most people just take it very literally and traditionally also. But the way Gurudev has explained again from parallels from the Gita and evidence from his own life. And this is a criticism the Westerners gave that, Hinduism is all about moksha, it is selfish, it is only about yourself and liberation. Therefore, Buddha leaves his family and then goes to realize the truth. But that same Buddha came to uplift the world, including his family. No? And giving a picture that Hinduism is not a religion of service, it is only of moksha and self-realization. And some were brainwashed by such ideologies. Even the spiritual people, even now, I'm doing sadhana for myself to realize the truth. No sadhana in Vedanta is possible until and unless Ishavasyam idam sarvam. And kurvan neveha karmani jiji vishe chatagam samaha. Since I've explained all these verses, I'm saying in Sanskrit only. Now you see how those two verses are combined, and later on how the Rishi says how we have to live in a combination of both. And how that combination is possible, Shankaracharya has logically given, and how Gurudev expands its meaning. And of course, saints have done it also, to explain that having realized the self within, full knowledge is sarvam khaluidam brahma. That all this is Brahman only. So inside and outside is that one consciousness, because of which everything is experienced, everything exists, everything is recognized, and everyone lives. So Atma is Brahman. Have you saved yourself? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.